Greetings, this is a martial art training film, educational film, and it's on weapons defense. I must stress the point that weapons defense is very important for our nation and security of everyone that's in Christian ground like Australia and America, Greece, a lot of countries. We fight against terrorists and evil people, criminals. I don't believe for a moment God's going to defend the criminals or the terrorists. Satan may try to help them, but God will win. He will defend our side. When terrorists and evil people say they've got God on their side, they're being deceived by an evil spirit, an evil force, claiming to be God, and they believe that. But in reality, God does not back up evil anyway. So this is for our side to be able to defend themselves. If we can let corrupt people get this information, or any information, it's all over books and DVDs everywhere, it will backfire to them because God will not support them. He will only support those that are on Christian ground. Because these martial arts that God has created in this world is designed to backfire against evil, but He backs up those with God's kind of good things. Now these are normal weapons found in martial arts. They can be related to any weapon here, which I'll show you in a minute. Okay. In martial arts, the best way to learn how to use weapons, in my opinion, is to learn your self-defense in hand-to-hand combat first, and I'll explain to you why in a minute. You've got your blocks coming out this way. Okay. Coming in this way. Okay, coming in this way. They can all be used with a weapon on your hand. You got the ones coming this way, which freely will be kind of like this. Okay, coming this way. Okay, coming this way, this way, this way, this way. And you've got your boxing. You've got your uppercut. You've got your hook. You've got your front punch. You've got your jab. Okay. You've got your back fist. You've got your hammer. And all these type of blows found in boxing, in other arts. They're all found in many arts. Kung Fu, karate, a lot of arts. Okay. So when we get to these weapons now, here are your blocks in hand-to-hand combat. Here they are in weapon combat. So is the other ones here. Okay, you come this way. Okay, and this may be your guard. Okay, which defends the body. You may come up this way. In the same manner, here's your uppercut, here's your hook, here's your back fist, okay, and here's your hammer, and here's the front punch, straight in, or the jab, okay. Other side, you've got the jab, the front punch, you've got the hook, the uppercut, you've got the back fist, and you've got the hammer. This is an introduction class, just showing you that there'll be more shot sooner or later. So as then, you may have your parries where you may parry it and straight in. You may parry it and straight in, or other things which we'll get into the class. Same common sense applies to now the karate sticks. Got your blocks here, right here. Got your blocks all over the place, see? All over the place, everywhere. Got them up here, got them here. Got them up here, got them here. Got your parry. You got your front straight to the eyes. Okay, you've got your hook, your back fist, got your uppercut. An uppercut can be done both ways. So you've got your hook, back fist, uppercut, jab, and uppercut. Okay? And you've got your hammer. You can use them both at the same time too, if you want. Both weapons or all the weapons. Okay, so you may block and come straight in, or you may parry, bang, straight in, or block actually, and straight in. Is one of the techniques. So now we come to the knives. Same common sense. This was another knife. I haven't got another knife, but this was another knife. Here's your blocks. Common sense, the basics, the most important ones. Okay, here's your parry. Okay, okay, and there's your straight in, and you've got your back fist, got your hook, got your uppercut, and you've got your display here, which is the jab. So is the other side. Okay, you've got your front, you've got your hook, you've got your back fist, your uppercut, you've got your slice. Okay. So you got your blocks coming in this way. See now, you use this part. It's a shorter weapon, or you can use your forehand. You can block, come straight in, and strike. Block with your forehand here, and strike to the neck. For example, is one technique. So the same common sense applies to the nunchucks. The nunchucks are very deadly if you know how to use them. If you don't know how to use them, they'll backfire to you pretty easy, especially if you haven't got God on your side. Okay, they're hopeless against an attacker. If you don't know how to use them, you must likely kill yourself. But if you know how to use them, they're very deadly because they've got a chain or string. This one's got a chain. There's your blocks. Okay, this one, there's your uppercut, back fist, and etc. Okay, hammer. In the same manner, nunchucks are very hard to use if you don't know. For example, if you've got them in this position and you come in here, okay, what this is you've got your hammer, okay? It's very good for a hammer. You come in, you've got a hammer. So how this is used is you can block this way on the top part of the nunchucker. Be careful you don't hit yourself, okay? It's hard to do because of the chain. So blocking here is limited to what it can do when it's not used this way. It's very difficult, but you get away with it by beating the person part of the attack. Because if he's got another weapon like a long stick or one of those weapons, this is more faster because of the chain. And if that was a target, for example, and someone comes in and is much slower than me, I come in and beat the attack. Okay, come in, bang, and beat the attack. Okay. So is then all the beat. So the other weapons are very good with blocking and beats and everything else. But the nunchucker is mainly used more effective in the beats than the blocking. But it's pretty much the same way that you use them. Okay, in the same manner, in the piece of cutting, they might have one of those buttons. You can use it one hand. Okay? Or you can have two if they ever give you two. Okay? But you can have it with one hand. You can block this way. Strike, you may come this way, come bang this way, or you might just come this way. You can use it to the other hand. Okay? So is the other weapons. In the same manner, you may get in a situation where there's an axe lying around. Very rarely, you may be doing some farm work and someone attacks you. You may be chopping some wood and you've got an axe. Suppose say you've got two, you would have one, but say you've got two, you can use it. Same basic principle. The Indian axe, okay? Same common sense. You've got your hook, back fist, uppercut, hammer, okay? Okay, you can use the hammer as well, basically the same way. Okay, if you say you're doing some carpentry and someone attacks you, you come straight in, okay? In the same manner, going back to all the weapons, especially this one, that can be used this way, coming down this way. If someone comes from behind, That's why they left a bit longer here, so they can strike, bang. Okay, you can use your elbows, you can use your uppercut. You can actually strike with these ones. You can strike here this way, or you can use elbow. You can use elbows up, down. Okay, so it's the other side. Okay, so as the other weapons can be used in a basic similar fashion. You can turn these around this way and have them this way. This is why I really love these weapons, because they can be used this way. You can toss them and turn them and all kinds of weird things. And have them this way, defending the lower line as well as the top line. Okay, come this way, or you can come this way, this way, this way, this way. And of course you've got your front punch, your hooks, your uppercuts, okay, etc. You come this way, come up, bang, and strike. Come in, bang, and strike. Okay? Come in, you come in this way, and strike. You need distance of each weapon, how long it is, and you need good distance, you need good, well, the power is there. The weapon gives the power itself, much more powerful than a punch, 1,000 times more powerful, even a million, if you know how to use it properly. You need a lot of speed, timing, and accuracy. You need to be balanced. You need a lot of things in the martial arts, like mainly accuracy and balance. What else do you need? You need a lot of knowledge. You need to be good blocking and good parrying. And know your techniques. You learn in hand-to-hand combat can be applied to weapon combat. This is an introductory class, and there might be more shot, or there may not be. I don't know. We'll see. Hope you enjoyed that. Greetings. This is lesson 1 on the Kali stick. I want you to put the Kali sticks. Here they are. They're on the Kali sticks. This will come up. It will come up. Okay. So repeat that to explain what's going on. Okay, we set that up to aim and strike. So if the first one gets in, okay, the first one gets in, fair enough. If he doesn't, or does, fair enough. If he doesn't, and you miss, set up for another strike. I've been using Kali sticks for a while. We'll give it a go. So come up. Like for example, you might come up and miss. Come up. Back the other way. This is compulsory in the martial arts. That even a miss can be used effective if you know what you're doing, not if you don't. Where's the other ball go? Forget about the other ball, it's up there somewhere. Okay. For example, you can fake, pretend to hit someone to gain distance and then hit him the other way. Or you can attempt to strike in combination and hit, and then strike again in yet another combination. For instance, if you were to use a combination, whether it's hand-to-hand combat or whipping, doesn't matter, it's based on the same principle. Okay? And also I'm supposed to use a combination here, so 1, 2 for example. This could be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, any combination. But supposed to say I was to use a combination and miss, use it as a fake and cover up. strategies of combat, rather than panicking, oh shit, I miss and get hit. So repeat that. My intention is to use a combination, and I end up missing. I then cover up and miss again, and strike the third time. You don't want to go beyond the third time unless you have to. Okay? This can be applied to in combat. So my intention was a combination, as I repeat. I miss, so I change it into a fake or feint and strike the other one. In the same manner, I may not count the distance properly, and I may use a fake, and then I'm hitting it instead. That's no problem. I hit the target. Strike again. There's a lot of strategies. For example, an opponent attacks from one side, you beat him to the technique. Okay? You may come this way, you may block and strike. Okay, there may be two opponents, one there and one there. You may cover up in this position, strike, you miss, on the other one, and you miss, down this way. Okay? Although it's best not to miss, unless it's a fake. Okay? So for example, if you're in this position, you might come up, and strike deadly without missing. Another person comes up this way. So, if you look at the previous introduction, you may cover up this one. A person comes in, and you strike with a non-telegraphic blow. Okay? You saw how powerful that was, because the telegraphic comes from here. Okay, into the target. You don't pull the hand back. A security guard, a friend of mine, says that in weapon training they train this way. Okay, for example, one technique that they do out of a number is they put the hand here. So this is used to stop the aggressor from coming past your hand, like Muhammad Ali would jab. Would touch the person and jab with the other hand. So from here, you strike. Okay? But it is much better either way. Depends upon what you're used to. If you keep the hand here, bang, straight in, you miss. Gone the other way. But faster. I slowed it down between sets. So you can see it. So for example, you've missed, bang, gone in. Instantly. Okay? Like for example, a person that's in this position may be able to stop the person from coming in. But it's got a longer way, longer reach, and it's good if you can keep him at distance. From here, bang. Okay? But it's a bigger distance. More power, but bigger distance. So the person here is kept at bay. As a hand moves back to give power here. If the person is good enough, you can stop that. If he's got another weapon, you can stop that and come in. Because it travels much further out. From here, they usually do it from here all the way here. It can't be seen here, but the person. Greetings, this is weapon class, lesson 1B. I actually filmed it, but the film stopped halfway, so we have to continue from lesson 1. Okay. So we've got the characteristic continuing from lesson 1. You've got a person standing in this position. Okay. And a person standing in this position. Okay. So the person from this position may come up and move his hand way back to get power to strike you. That's a very powerful blow. You've got to be very careful. As you're here, and if the hand moves back, straight in. If you miss, you cut in and out as quick, so you go bang, bang. You'll be much faster. If it's a non-telegraphic blow, you may have to cover up here to block that one. As he moves his hand back, come in, bang, straight in. Okay? That will use more speed of movement because I move my hand back, but I move it lesser than what that person would have moved. Okay? So for example, with a non-telegraphic blow, as he moves his hand back, straight in, it's like a cobra. They strike before it is seen from here. Okay? So then, that's called the beat. Well, of course, you've got other techniques. You might be in this position, the person throws a hook or something, or uppercut or something, and he telegraphs the movement. So without telegraphing the movement, you come to the bang, straight in. Okay? Or you may be in this position, okay? And the person comes in the same way, and without telegraphing, straight up. Okay? Or you may be in this position here. So a person comes in, same thing again, without telegraphing, straight in. And of course, that can be repeated on the other side. As you practice, into practice sessions, you've got to be two-sided fighter, as I stressed the point. Because if you're in this position and there's two fighters, one at the back, here somewhere, and one there, or more fighters, say two, you cannot spend too much time here. Because this guy can stab you or hit you from behind. You have to come from here. Bang! Straight in. Okay? Okay? So you've got this position, you're in here, you go straight here. You got to go quickly in. Okay? For instance, in the previous film we talked about the fake. We actually talked about the beat a bit, but the fake. A fake will probably be something like you pretend to strike here and you strike down. Or you might pretend here, bang straight into the feet, or vice versa. You pretend here and strike to the head. This is much quicker than actually striking in the feet and in here, unless you're using combination. But it depends on the situation, but it can be much faster because you don't have to go all the way in and then hesitate to come this way because it's a shorter movement, bang, bang. See? Rather than going bang, bang, it takes too long. So by faking, straight in, attacking the person down. As you fake, he puts his guard down, or he may put his feet up to block, or move out the way, or whatever, and you strike him in the head. So he's got his guard down this time. So it's vice versa. So you've got non-telegraphic blows, and you've got the beat, and you've got fakes. You can also block from here, and straight up, bang, using a non-telegraphic blow. So you block the attack, and come up. Okay? You block the attack, go down. Using a non-telegraphic blow, fast as a cobra. Okay? So you may now use other things that you've got to have your distance. You've got to know your distance. You can't miss all the time because you're going to get hit. If you miss, you can cover up. Okay? So you use that as an aiming device and then cover up to the real attack. So your intention was to use combination, like I said in the previous film, and you accidentally miss, then you can cover up and do a strike, or vice versa. You can use combinations and whatever. You look at the previous tape. So there's also other things like speed of movement. You might have saw speed of movement there, combined with those techniques. There's speed of change direction midstream, for example. There may be two opponents here, you may come, they cut that way and then strike here. So for example, you've gone here, covered up. Okay? So in combat, when there's more than one aggressor, it's much faster. to just strike as I demonstrate now. Okay, you may be surrounded. If I was to spend too much time mucking around with one person from behind or the side or other can come with a knife or hand-to-hand combat or whatever weapon and take the count. So it pays to be accurate, fast, and all that. All the requirements of martial art, and use one technique, knockouts, whether it's hand-to-hand combat or weapon. It's by coming bang, 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 bang. Okay? You may cover up. You come in. Yeah, man. And you might put the opponents behind this opponent here. So now they're behind you. So they've got to get through this person to get to you. So you may, behind this guy and put this one in front. His arm here, and as they come in, get behind this person. These two have his arm. They're on the ground. And you come in behind here. So you've got these two behind you. So it kind of like evens out the odds. There's one strategy out of a lot. Hope you enjoyed that. Greetings, this is the Calisthenics weapon class. Weapon class 1C, and this is just for you to have a view.
We do have something to stop.
What happened? What happened? Greetings. This is weapon class lesson 2 in an nunchucker. Just gotta watch, observe. Okay, we're doing it. This is lesson 3, I think. No, lesson 4 on the weapons. What are they use these weapons? Yeah. The simple is having your guard up here, from here coming up. Oh, bloody hell. Say hello, Con. Hi, Con. Good to see you here.
Man.
Ready for training in the morning, huh?
Yeah.
Greetings. This is lesson 3. And it's 2 different weapons combined. For example, you might have this weapon, and you might have a Kali stick. Okay, so you might come up. And then, for example, you might have a nunchucker instead. Look on this way. The idea is to do simple, basic things. Every time I do something that I'm not used to or hard, most of the time I miss. Or do something simple like now, I will get it. Like that. Simplicity comes with practice. Because a lot of difficult things, as you see, will become simple from practicing. What you practice is what becomes simple. If I do something difficult, I most likely will miss. I try not to miss, but for example, if I do something, I try to figure something like this, well, I hit that. It was something difficult that I'm not quite used to. But this one, I'm used to that technique. But the thing is, my concentration was on you talking, not on that. So I'm not used to that kind of talking to you and doing this. Okay? So you might practice the simple things that you've learnt for better practice, and every now and then chuck in something that you have to learn, which will be difficult to hit the target, but eventually as you get practice it becomes simple and you end up hitting the target. So then we may use a kali stick and an unchucker. Chain, no, keep it here. Keep it simple because the right hand is more easier to use. Well, being on both sided, but a little bit better on the right side. And the unchucker is much more harder to use, so we use it on the right side and keep the simple weapon on the left. As you notice, this is different distance in range, and it could be more this way. So it becomes more complicated when there's two different weapons of different range, different distance. And you can put your weight out when you haven't had enough practice. Of course, you use a combination of different types of weapons. For example, you may have a normal stick out in the bush, and you may be attacked, you know, as you go for bushwalking or something, and you can just pick a normal stick up. That's where you learn different weapons in different range and different distances. So then when you come up with a stick, for example, in the bush or up the road, there may be a pole somewhere, you know, like a wooden stick from a tree, and you're attacked, okay, you pull it off, and it may be different distance. So you've got to get used to it. Here's what a hunter looks with a bow and arrow. And I remember ages ago shooting some film on some targets on the bow and arrow.
I remember too, Themis was very accurate and judged and he got the target.
Yeah, what happened is the sun was out and I couldn't shoot it from behind because it has to be in the right position. And that's the only position we can get it where my brother was shooting from, where we could get a clear film. And I had to be at the back, so I couldn't put my brother at the back because the sun was, you know, blind the camera and you couldn't see the film. So we had to shoot a number of times. And we got the right position after all, and most of the shots I was pinpoint, but there were a few that I just almost got the pinpoint, but not direct miss. Hello, this is a weapon class. I think it's about video 5, lesson 5. Okay, that's good, Con. Okay, so you notice what Con's doing here. He's got the kali stick. Kali stick is very dangerous when you come across an opponent with any weapon, or like this, a kali stick. But you can actually win if you know what you're doing, because stand still for a moment, Con. On guard position. Okay, he's on guard position. Just stand still. I just want to prove a point. See here, he's concentrating on attacking with his hand.
Defending and attacking.
Okay? Me, I've got one hand, two hands on the other side, and 2 feet. In most cases, an aggressor that attacks you with a weapon has got one weapon and will not use his feet or hand. Be careful of the ones that would. So all I have to do is I'll hold the weapon for a minute, Con. So all I have to do is use my 4 weapons, my 2 hands and my 2 feet against his one attack. Concentrate on that weapon, grab it, and I disarmed it easy. Very difficult to do, but it's like 4 against 1. But he's got the weapon. You follow what I'm saying? Okay, say something, Con. Say something.
Okay, my address is www.facebook.com Themis, it's Themis, Koutras, Koutoras. Send us a friend request, and I'll tick you off. Maybe share a few things. As you can see, I've just put this up. I've never got something in this way. 3 ropes that way. Last time we had 2. So the timing actually changes. It's very much awkward. You can see it's an awkward thing that's happening here. It's very much different. Sometimes you get some awkward violence, you see. So you've got to react to that, you see. See how awkward that was. Got straight in the jaw. So we've got one basic rhythm going in a simple movement here, and we've got one here. It's kind of like coordinate. There's different type of movements. It's kind of like walk with it. This one's very much different, smaller ball. They're very much different. Comes back to you differently. Ow! That's funny. That ball, that little ball hurts this one. I know they're making different these days. The old-fashioned balls, I'm not sure if they're still in the market, very much like this, they're very much different. Very much soft, doesn't hurt. This one kind of like stings. Okay. Yes, ma. Seguido. Okay. In this lesson, it's basically to teach women and even children and even men to defend themselves against wicked and corrupt people. Especially for the woman that gets raped and even for the children. I'm not sure how to apply the strategy for the children. It's basically the same principle. I don't remember how far back it was when I was a child. But I mean, for women, yeah. Continuing from what we said before, the feminine side of it again in the martial arts is very easy to understand once you understand it and once you take a hold of it. I have very much the feminine side of it again, but I also got the male. Just because I'm male doesn't mean that you can't have the feminine. And men can have the feminine and the male, so is the female. Like I said in my previous tape, the feminine strength has been lost in history because of, for example, for many reasons, like I said in the previous video, have a look, and also for reasons, for example, the man looks more muscular, even if he's not developed big as in bodybuilding, he looks more muscular than the female. The female is put down, she gets scared, whatever happens, the male dominates, and the woman is taken over. The women have to stand up for their rights against wicked and corrupt people. It takes practice and practice. Now this is how the feminine side works. The females might say you're male though. But like I said, it doesn't make any difference whether you're male or female. You can have it feminine or the male strength. Right? As long as you practice. In history, it was before, for example, before we got civilized, or before we got modern technology like the bow or something like that. Okay, it was even during that time it was man this and man that. Because this is how people grew up in society. Kung Fu was, the Wing Chun method of Kung Fu was invented by a female. She used to keep the eye of men that were rapists, not every man. Because not every man was a rapist or a murderer or evil. A lot of men loved her because, as a friend, because she would defend the females there, and even that, against wicked and corrupt people. It was taken over, I think, by, I'm not sure if it was anyone else between her and Yipman, but I think he went directly to Yipman after that, or maybe others before him. Anyway, he was eventually taken to Yipman either directly after her or sometime later. Eventually, to William Chan was one of Yipman's students, and eventually to Bruce Lee, who founded the art of Jeet Kune. Now, the permanent strength is more like the flow. Now, I'm exaggerating in the other way now. Before it was greater, this is the hard side of the muscle. Bang, bang, kind of like, that's the muscle strength. That's the real hard muscle. The soft strength is kind of flowing, what we see in Tai Chi, mainly. To go between that will be the Kung Fu method, which flows like water, if done correctly. If I exaggerate that movement, it'll be more towards the muscle strength. Not that far, kind of like a little bit less accelerated. So if you have to think of the correct form of it, correct form will be kind of like coming here, see? Like I said to you in the previous video, if I put all my male strength on here, all my body weight against the female strength here, the female strength will win. How much I push, I cannot bend that arm. As long as it's done correctly. If it's done wrongly, it will be easy. Okay? If it's done wrongly, it will be easy. If it's done correctly with the correct feminine strength, you want bending. But in combat, it's not only about bending. Sometimes you may be not to bend, sometimes you may be to bend, to actually bend the strength. For example, if I was to put the muscle strength here, okay, still not bend because I'm pretty strong. That's the male side of the thing here. So the female, look, it's loose. Look, I still can't bend that arm, see? Okay? But the male strength, for example, if it's a piece of ball like this, strong as this, and someone blocks that attack, and his arm is much stronger than the kick or the blow, most likely he'll break the foot of the aggressor or the hand. But if his hand is more weaker than the attack of the aggressor or the fighter, as his punch and kick is concerned, he will break his hand. Like that, if that is much thinner, you can give a powerful punch, and if you're a good martial artist, you stop it. Same with the hand. Depends what is stronger, the hand or the kick. In each situation could be different. People could be stronger either way. In the same basic principle, the Themis side is weak. If it's more stronger than the aggressor, say this is the male aggressor or the female, so process this side, and it's much stronger, it'll keep the hand there. Although in some situations she may bend it, like a Bermuda bend. So from here, if my weight is more stronger than that female and actually bends the arm, it can retain. Whereas in one snap, like the bamboo one snap, you block. If it's strong enough to keep the hand there, you may come in with an attack to the eyes, both the kneecap, groin, whatever combinations, whatever male or female strength. But it starts with female strength, bang. If you cannot stop the attack because the male has much more powerful strength in the male version than what you have in the female, you just release and come the other way. So from here, come back, release, and the other way, smack straight in. It's like a bamboo that breaks. Depends on the situation. You don't know what the situation will happen until it happens. So you may be in combat. You first bang, I have to bang, bang, straight in. Okay? Or no, I don't have to bang. I just go straight in this way rather than turn around. Depends on the situation. That's where the advantage of the female strength comes into play. But you've got to know how to use it. If you don't know how to use it, you're going to get hit, girls. So you may be flowing this way. In this situation, you may be strong with that particular attack. You may come in this way because you stopped the attack and you come into the eyes. Maybe it's with a boxing or kicking, grabbing. We'll talk about grabbing some other time. But anyway, you get the point. This time you come and attack with another attack, say a second aggressor, and this time he's much stronger with his strength. His version of the male is much stronger than your version of the female. It's just his training, whatever, he's more advanced, and he bends your arm. You just blow around, coming this way, like the bamboo that bends. Founded in the Kung Fu principle. You can't eat, stop, come around, and come the other way. Do tricks of the trade. Whereas if I'm stiff, it's very hard to leave this hand stiff right around, isn't it? Look, whether you're female or male, tense your muscles a lot. As much as you can. And try to turn around. You can't really, you tense. You're like a piece of wood that's solid, stable. You know, loosen as much as you can. It's very, very easy. You relax. The movements are relaxed. You may not have to relax that much. It's being 50-50 between the strong side and the weak side is the best option, because from there you can release that way, or you can cut in more of the strength to go into the technique which we taught some time later. Maybe you don't understand now. Certain kind of flows come in this way, come in here, bang, come here, smack, bang, come in here, bang, come in, flowing. Kind of like move around like in the correct distance, flowing, not to be able to be hit by the movements, by moving around out of the way of the aggressor, his attacks. You have to be good, skillful. You can't just do it without being skillful and without having the proper form of strength. You have to be skillful and stuff like that. I testify to the truth. My mother has that female strength. It's not every woman that has lost in history. There are those few women that still have that feminine strength today. I've actually met another lady that might have it. I didn't pay too much close attention to what she was doing for a long time, because I only saw her for a little bit of time, for 5 minutes. She was sparring next to a guy. She went pretty good. Nevertheless, I didn't see too much of that to really know that. Most likely, yeah. But nevertheless, my mama spent all my life with her. Between us, in the camera here, between the world and me, my mother has always been stronger than me. Yeah, the only one that's ever defeated me in combat. Mucking around, not real combat. Yeah, I just like the truth today. Maybe not anymore, because she's 80 years old or 70, whatever. She's damaged her sight. She's damaged her sight. She still walks around with medicine. She takes medicine. Sometimes she falls, yeah. After I'm there and I always catch her, or my brother or someone. I just happen to be there sometimes. It's a sad story, but she's very strong. She can still do work at her age. At her younger days, she was working 4 jobs to raise us. 4 jobs. My father had a broken back from too much. Okay, I don't know the full story, but 4 jobs. She damaged her whole side, the nervous system, because of too much work. She's not as strong as she was, but even today, if I teach her a few tricks of the trade, but she had the feminine strength in the sense of the Greek way. In Greece, a little bit of skill, but not much skill. She didn't train in the martial arts, she just trained in natural strength. And her natural strength always was ahead of my martial arts in my younger days, and I was at my peak. Well, before my peak, even from about 17 to about 24, 25. Even in my peak, from 21 to 24, she used to always get those techniques in. Just whatever she did, she had that feminine strength. And I admit it, she was much stronger. And she wasn't as skillful as me too. I had the male strength, and I had the female strength too, but I wasn't as advanced as her. I learned mostly from her, by talking to her, mostly talking, mucking around with this, her actions, because I've done the kung fu principles behind me, Chang, and I learned that from there. Now, it's different because she's 80 years old, but my mother, you should see how strong she was in the younger days. Anyway, and that's a female. So females, you can do it. You can do it. Okay? You don't let these aggressors pin you to the ground, and I won't get into detail, but it's a horrifying story if it happens. You know, there's tricks of the trade. You've got fingernails, strength of the eyes. You've got to make sure you get it in there. Don't do anything stupid where your hand gets stopped, because you'll break your fingers or whatever. Make sure you get it into the eyes, otherwise you might as well go for the kneecap and break it, whatever, the groin, whatever. If you get to the eyes, it's a good opportunity, because once you hit the eyes, with your fingernails, especially with long fingernails, they cut the eye. A blind man can't do much damage to you. You just walk away and call the police. You're in defense, because you defend yourself against a raper, a murderer, whatever. Women and children have the right to defend themselves. Men aggressors have no right to come against a woman. Oh man, that's why I teach this. In heart, the women will be able to defend themselves. Your best chance is the police. Yeah, a woman today can be stronger, even today, if she uses the defense of the males who will defend the female and the children. All you do is report the place. The aggressor will pull off the street. And you're strong enough to the place, the males, they're strong enough. And eventually you work on your strength, because sometimes the police may not be there, and you may have to use your feminine strength personally. Okay? Understand that. You also got to understand that you've got rights. But so, men, don't go pick on a man that are innocent. If a man hasn't done any damage, if he hasn't attacked you, if he hasn't done anything wrong, I don't like women that lie and say that he's done this and the man hasn't done anything wrong. This is wrong, women. You don't do that. You've got to be decent in society. Men should not stuff around with women, but women should not stuff around with men either. They have to have equal rights. We should love each other. The best kind of defense is no defense. Not now. The best defense now is whatever you want. But when the world turns from corruption and becomes perfect in the Lord Jesus Christ and learns what it means not to murder, not to rape, not to do wrongdoing, then we don't have to learn the art of martial arts to defend ourselves, whether we're women, children, or men. Okay? We don't have to learn to defend ourselves because nobody's fighting anyway. So everybody has learned the art of martial arts, even if they have no lessons at all, because nobody fights anymore. We keep the peace. No more wars, no more evil, no more harm. That's what we stand for. Peace, safety, and love. It's very needed in society. The best defense in the martial artists, I'm not sure about how many styles, but at least one style. We tell you that the last thing that you learn in martial arts is how not to fight. They don't teach you to fight, they teach you how not to. So if everybody learns how not to fight, they don't have to have any lessons in punching or kicking. If we learn how not to fight, and everybody does that all the time, then there's no reason to practice martial arts because everybody has learned their lesson and nobody fights anybody else. Because the only reason why we practice martial arts is to defend ourselves. There's no need to defend to anything or gut. That's where it has to lead. Every person has the same brain to say no more bullshitting people around. Everybody's got rights. Human beings, women got rights, children have rights. Men, yes, men also have rights. So have women, children, everybody has equal rights. If these aggressors don't learn, we report it to the police. They've got guns, they're much more better than me in martial arts. They've got guns, you know, pull out a weapon, the police will come hard, the force will be there. Okay, put them off the street at least until they repent and turn to Christ, and at least until they start behaving. Until then, we've got to defend. Okay? So the socialism against basically flowing like nature. So how can I explain this? Like flowing, flow, the flow of air. Something within. But it's more to here. In martial arts, in Aikido, I think it is. Yeah, I think so. It will teach you exercise to stand like this, and very strange exercises, very weird. It will teach you, and imagine the fingers are hoses and water's coming out of the hose of the fingers. I've learned it in different ways, but that's one way they teach you. And it flows like water. To finish off, Bruce said, fly like water. A lot of martial arts has been trying to fly like water. But what I say is got beyond the point. Don't just fly like water. But learn to ride the storm like a surfer does. Without falling into the water and drowning. If you drown, you're not a good surfer. Or rather, do not go in deep water when there's a big storm coming because you can drown. Or even better still. If you go into deep water, make sure you've got a life jacket on if you can't swim. Even better still, what was the other saying that I made up? Make sure you swim in a calm storm and make sure you've done your swimming lessons. If you haven't done swimming lessons, don't go into deep water, stay in the shallow part. In other words, what I'm saying to you is, you can fly like water and be a very good martial artist, but you don't go picking on these guys. Yeah? Does that make sense? Just like a surfer, you ride the storm. In that sense, means that you would train in such a way that you can actually defeat a better fighter. I'll talk about how to do that. That's riding the storm like a surfer, but it's very difficult to do. You have to a brain and a half, but it can be done. Another way is don't go into deep water, when there's a heavy storm or when you can't swim. Okay, that basically means you don't make trouble with a good fighter because you're going to get hit. Just stay away. You can be with him and be friends, whatever. It's the brain. A true martial art doesn't necessarily mean one that knows how to throw a punch, but one that uses correct strategy. For example, why walk up the road in an alleyway in the middle of 12 o'clock at night asking for trouble? Doesn't mean if you're a good fighter. If there's 100 there with knives and guns, and they're going to mug you, you're going to get mugged, and you're going to get raped, and you're going to get, whatever. You're going to die. You'll be lucky to survive it if they let you. Walk out, 12 o'clock lunchtime in the middle of the day, and everybody's around. There's people who call the police. There's no night time. Alleyways get around, and you don't have to do alleyways or any dark places. Stay at home when you have to. If you're going to go out, make sure you go to a good company, make sure you trust them, and don't think you can when you can't. And don't go in trouble places. Discos, don't go to places like discos or spikes, stay away from them. A good martial artist stays away from trouble, doesn't go into trouble. But if he's in trouble, no, a good martial artist can disarm a person without even was involved bodily injury to any wrestler. It's as simple as an attacker coming in, you may grab them and hold him up there. His arm will be like this, okay, so you hold him up off his toes, okay, and you may put him down into the ground. Do Aikido. You might come in, you might grab his head and possibly make him do a somersault. Safely. You don't hurt him at all. In Aikido, it's prehistorical to hurt your aggressor. When you disarm a person, whether they've got weapons or not, a master will disarm it and not hold no bodily injury to the aggressor. He comes in with a knife, you grab his hand, you spin him around, he goes to find somersault, and spin him out, he attacks again, you spin him the other way. Grab his hand, you spin him. It's all in the art of the Aikido. And you have if you've done correctly, he will roll on his back, if you're throwing that is, or he will be pinned to the ground, whatever you use, will disarm the attacker and there will be no injury done to the attacker whatsoever. You then may pin him to the ground and tell your wife to call the police, or someone up the road may call the police. And aggressors pull off the street safely without any damage. Although every other art, I haven't found any other art that does that. Every other art which will try to kill or be killed, it's the direct opposite of Aikido. Anyway, that is all. Greetings. We're going to talk about the feminine power of yin and yang. The feminine power doesn't necessarily mean only women got it. Men can have it too, and so is the men power. The women can have it too, but it's more common that females have feminine power and men have male power. What this basically means is the yin and yang. A lot of people don't understand what the yin and yang really means. It means the softness and hardness of nature. The softness doesn't necessarily mean it's weak when it's used correctly, but it is weak when it's used incorrectly. So is the male strength, or the other side of yin and yang. The male strength doesn't necessarily mean it's strong. The strong strength if it's used ineffectively. For example, if you have power and you miss the target, you miss the person that's here and you miss him, he comes in with a punch, doesn't matter how strong you are, you're going to go down. The problem with the feminine power in the year 2013 is that the females have lost the ability of strength in history because of the ego of the male situation, and the females thought, why? Deception. To cause the female discourage and discomfort in history to think that she is weaker. In actual fact, at this present time, they are weaker because it goes by the genes. They eventually are created weaker because that's what happened. It doesn't mean that the righteous males knew that evil. It might have been because they knew about the male strength. But a lot of evil men would have done that to weaken the female. Okay? Because of rapists and stuff like this. The female strength can be found in the yin and yang method. It's got to do with flexibility, which is taught in basically any martial art academy. Yet to actually teach the feminine version is very rare.
I'm not sure about today, but years ago in my days it was where you can find it in the William Chung method. I have got the feminine power of yin and yang, and I have got the male too. You saw the power I had in my previous video. I usually use the feminine power, thank you, not the male. If you notice others martial artists that use the male strength, they're not that powerful. It's like the tree. Solid tree. The feminine power carries that power. And I have my knuckles. No blood, maybe a little bit of scratches, not even that, maybe a little scratch here, nothing big. I can't break it, but it's much stronger than me, that I can take the blow. But we hit it hard enough. I suppose if I had that strength, I don't even know if I had, I'll probably break it. If I had, I'd put back my hand. So you've got to control that power. Okay, the male strength is like a tree. Solid. If this tree is thinner, like really thin, you give a big enough punch, it will snap. Because that's how trees are. If you're a good martial artist, you've heard martial artists snap boards, although those are tricks to train, and the boards are designed to snap even by any, even by the weakest one. But the true martial artists can actually snap real boards. I can snap real boards. I'm not bad, but I can. I'm not set up. What they do is they go by the grain. I won't explain it now. And they hit the grain on boards like pine wood, and the grain is this way to snap it. The grain is its common sense. I can go against the grain and still snap it. But nevertheless, I won't show you that today. Nevertheless, it's not about breaking boards, it's about combat. Boards don't hit that way. Bruce, but for argument's sake. In this lesson, this big heavy tree, if a big storm comes here, boom, and hits it, this is snap, boom, by the wind. Take it down. That is the master. Or one sort of coming in. Very solid, very good. It's more like that, more like strength versus strength, or strength, as in what people understand strength to be today. The female strength is a lot different. The female strength is like a bamboo. Like a bamboo, me and a tree I've created this made out of a bamboo, okay? I made it myself, okay? It's more like a bamboo, very flexible. Okay. If this is not a bamboo, but if this was a bamboo, the wind comes and doesn't break, just bend. Like it's got a root, I mean, as a tree will bend, go back up. Doesn't break. The biggest storm cannot break that bamboo, even though the bamboo is a lot weaker. Okay. It's found mostly in flexibility and in Wing Chun method. It's more like flowing with the flow. Bruce Lee emphasizes the fact to become like water. Water takes any shape. It's putting a couple in one of these pots or whatever you may call it. It becomes a shape of that. You block up the hole here with syllable. You put it in here, it becomes a shape. The hole is there, just flow out. Takes any shape, any form, any likeness. You like water, Bruce Lee. Flow with the flow. A lot of that can be found in the Tai Chi method. Although Tai Chi may not be, it is a martial art that's purposes for inner health, rather emphasizes inner health more than martial arts. But when you become very good with that, you may be able to use it in martial arts. But you have to understand how it works. In the William Chang method, which is more kung fu, invented by a female years ago, not by a man. When the times of Asia, there was a lot of rapists, a lot of dirty men, a lot of men that would pick on women, whatever. And she, I forget her name, she found company. She used to beat up the hell out of these evil people. Anyway, when they used to attack women, and it flows. Gentle flow. Softness. Not softness as in weak. It's weak. It's a collapse. Softness as in strong. The male strength, I'll go back to the male and the female strength because I know how to use this. Okay, so I can explain this to you better. My whole body weight is pushed against my hand here. Look, I'm leaning right on it. All my male strength is going onto my female hand. This is not weak. As you can see, there's no strength here. One bend. It's an unbendable arm. Because it flows, if you know how to do it correctly, it flows with nature. Although if you don't know how to do it correctly, like the women have been talked about in their history and they've lost their strength in history, then you become very weak, just like the male strength, you become very weak. The wind hits it, bang. But if you know how to use it, flow, I exaggerate the movement, flow,
flow, so you can see it now. This becomes more like the man strength. Man. But you flow in the woman's side of the subject. Flow from here. You can go to the strength version of the male, you can go to the weaker, and play around with the ball, like that cat plays with the mouse. It's very hard to explain it. It flows with the flow. It comes from within. If you look at a male, at least me, I don't know about other males, but me, if I was a woman, mate, you tell me to give birth, I say, get out of here, I ain't giving birth. I ain't going to deliver a child here tonight. No way in the world I'm going to get pregnant. That's the male story. The male in hospital, I don't know about others, but me, if I saw my wife, if I was married and she was having a baby, I'd be more pain than her, and I'm not giving birth she is. Women hurt, like men, and they yell and scream, and it's painful, but the male freaks out. Seeing his missus like that freaks me out. I don't know about other males, would freak me out to the max. Why, if I was a female, could not give birth, because I'm a male. Female can give birth as in delivering a child. Female strength is very powerful, and very effective in hand-to-hand combat or weaponry combat in strict conditions. In the ring, it's been a long time since, and I was never practicing the ring, I think, because in those days it was used for combat. Don't know about the ring, but in actual street, it's very effective once you know. So, for example, every time you see me use, I use the feminine strength, see? I'm not using any type of male strength. Sometimes I use I can use both. If I use the male strength to show you the difference, it's just as effective because I can use both. But I'll show you that it's just the same thing. If I use a strength, that's more like the male strength. Matter of fact, you saw the female strength more effective. Look, I use the female. It's more like being relaxed, loose. Okay, come up here. You saw that? It's like a spring, bang, snap, but through the target. All right. Bang! Bring the whole body into the punch. And line in the punch. When Bruce Lee said, power comes from the hip, you look at the story, I think in Australia it's called the Way of the Dragon, I'm not sure about overseas, but they may have a different name, but I think they do. But they're asking how do you kick, or this, I'm not sure what they said, but the subject was related to that he's going to do it psychic because he kicked someone's back. Go to the psyche, so he's related to kicking here. It comes from the hip. And he didn't finish speaking because it's not only from the hip. It comes from the body and line into it, the hip, especially the body and line, and especially the hip into the target. In punching, it's different. It comes from the shoulders and the lats. This is where the elasticity is. See, this is where the movement of the arm is. See, this is where the movement of the leg is here. It comes by being and line straight into the target. Straight into the target. By snapping through the target, not at it, okay, not so much like the teacher, but through it, 6 inches through. So you will come up and go, step through it, snap through the target. And that is all. So I want to stress the point to females, work on your feminine side of strength. Self-knowledge is what Bruce always taught. Bruce Lee always taught self-knowledge. Okay? It's very good. Other knowledge, other arts, other people's knowledge is good too. Book knowledge, study knowledge, get everything you can get the male strength too. Don't let the male push you down. These days you can, especially. Hard, it's not easy, but it's not easy for a male either. As for children, I haven't looked into it that far, and I don't think the children should, maybe kick the aggressor, the dirty person, in the groin and run to the police station, I think, or even run before they can kick. But I mean, look, I don't know. Bruce recommends for a woman. He said the best news I can have for a woman in today's day is kick the person in the groin and run like hell. And I would say, yeah, run to the police station. But nevertheless, the William Chung method and the Tai Chi method, I'm not sure about all Tai Chi arts, but certain Tai Chi arts will teach you that. The feminine power, but it takes many years to progress in it. Because females have lost their strength. It's been a long time since females have had that confidence, that courageous appearance where they can practice. It's not just by practicing, it's by going by the genes too. And this generation, and we might talk a little bit more because I've got a little bit more film. In this generation, it goes by the genes. of what you're born. If your parents have got the thoughts, it goes for the mind, the spirit, and the flesh truth. If your parents have thought that the female is weaker, in this generation the females become weaker because that's how they've been taught. They've got to be strengthened. It might take many generations before they're strengthened. That could take straight away if you train. It's all about training. Get that flexibility, use it to your advantage. Get a bit of muscle development. You don't have to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. No. It's all about speed. The heavier you are, it's very good to be heavy and muscular, yeah, but you need the power behind it. If you miss it, no good. You might as well be skinny and be fast and hit the target. Okay? Timing and accuracy is the key factor of power. Not power itself. Power is good to have, to be built. It's not, I'm pretty much built. But I mean, I don't misunderstand it. Like, you know, but I'd rather be light. I'm about 75 kilos at the moment, lost some weight from 94. Because you're more faster. It's about speed. If I hit this very slowly, you know, I'm not going to do nothing other than push myself backward, you know, towards it at the moment. It gives you an isometric test, which is good for exercise, but don't do nothing. If I hit that really hard, fast, I'm not going to break my hand, I'm going to break the board. Now, board's going to hit back, but this is the same thing in comedy. If I'm going to hit someone fast, with accuracy and timing, this sort of thing, and if I hit a pinpoint, it's going to go down. If I miss them, it doesn't matter how big I am or small, that's what I have an effect. So you can be big or small, and have the same effect. Doesn't matter if you're a female or a male. As long as you hit that ball, timing, action. You know, with wrestling moves, we'll talk about this sometime, but that's another passion and kicking. Wrestling comes a little bit more complicated, but anyway.
We are praying, God Almighty, and we know He hears us all around. Let us bow down to Jesus now. We are praying to God Almighty on holy ground. We will worship God Creator as we are led to Jesus, holy, perfect, as we come to bow
His presence. We are worshiping God Creator, like angels